YOLO. Ain't worried about no FOMO. Coin market cap out the crash on my left when the bitch bounce back like a pogo. No fiat dough, I got Divi coin, I got Bitcoin, I got Ether. What y'all know about a pump and dump? John Mcafee.
Good morning, ladies and gents. Welcome to Our Two Satoshis. This is podcast 3 in our series. This is just going to be kind of a little bit of a lightweight podcast on this Saturday morning. Normally we put them out on Mondays, but for one, Billy is a little hungover.
I'm recovering. It's not bad.
And I am potentially going to be having a baby today or tomorrow with my wife, so that's why we're kind of pushing this one a little ahead here. This one's going to be, as mentioned, just a little lightweight. We're going to talk about a few things that happened over the past week, some going-ons at Crypto Fizz, some of the different things happening in the market, and that's going to be pretty much it. Next week, we are actually going to be having a guest on to talk about smart contracts and some of the issues that are currently in place with smart contracts, some of the things that they can't do that people are working through to improve them so that they can actually have full real-world use cases. But today, we're just going to go over some of the things that have happened in the last week. So Billy, how are you feeling?
Well, luckily, it was wine in a box, so I wasn't mixing colors, you know.
Are you doing the box? Are you doing the box wine because of the way the market's been lately?
Yeah, it was like, what is this? Was it Big Daddy? Microsoft down to 3%. Yeah. So I'm not sure why we got the box, to be honest. We were just in Target and just doing some shopping on some odds and ends. And we happened to pass the wine aisle. I was like, man, that looks kind of tasty. So we picked it up. We watched Training Day for the first time. She did, not me.
I was about to say, for the first time? Come on, that's like a Denzel classic.
Oh, I know. I love that shit. But yeah, I got my Starbucks in hand. I'm recovering.
Good stuff. Yeah, and I'm preparing to, me and my wife are going in later today to the hospital, and she's going to be getting induced. So our first child should be making her appearance probably on Super Bowl Sunday.
The big game.
Yeah. So this should be a fun weekend overall. But but other than that, let's kind of dive into some of the things that's happening this week. So one of the things, and I just kind of want to level set this because we haven't talked about this on our other podcasts, but just want to make the community aware, and thank you everybody for listening. Our two podcasts so far have really done well. That we've got a lot of listens, that we've been growing. Of course, we're going to keep growing, but just want everybody to kind of understand that you and I both have full-time jobs. Like Crypto Fizz is just a side thing that we enjoy doing for the community, and we haven't made like a single penny off of Crypto Fizz.
For the love of the game.
Yeah, I mean, hey, our goal one day is, to build it into something that's, that's success, and maybe, hell, we can even do it full time. But, it's not something that we haven't made any money from it. That hasn't been our goal so far. It's just been kind of educating the community,
Exactly.
So one of the things we started doing this week, because we wanted to kind of grow our social media outreach, is we decided to start doing like a daily poll. And wow, look at the feedback we've had so far.
Yeah, gold mine.
So our first poll that we put up the other day, and then we shared it to different groups, was we asked the question, over the next 10 years, which crypto founder and CEO out of the two that we put as options would have the most positive impact on society. And of course, our two options that we chose this time, I knew was going to cause some fire within the communities. But we chose Brad Garlinghouse of Ripple, or XRP, versus Vitalik Buterin of Ethereum. And it was hilarious, the feedback we got. I mean, of course, you and I both know Vitalik was going to win that. No matter what the question was, he was going to win.
Well, and what's interesting, though, too, I posted a similar, it was a poll on Twitter. We do like a Twitter version of these as well, but it doesn't have the photos. But what was interesting was the results were the opposite. It was flipped on Twitter. So that was fun to watch.
It wasn't Twitter like 77% picked Brad Garlinghouse or something like that?
Yeah, it was like upper 70s, might be 80% by now, but yeah.
Now,
Crazy.
granted though, on Twitter we had like under 100 votes. On Facebook, when we posted it to the Ethereum and the Ripple groups, and we had 1,400 votes and like 2,700 views on the poll.
Uh-huh.
And on Facebook, it was 85% Vitalik, 15% Brad, and I mean, come on,
Twitter had like 77 votes or something.
Yeah, and I mean, long term, I mean, I voted for a Vitalik myself. Long term, I think Ethereum being an ecosystem, and everything that they're attempting to do, could cause much greater impact than Ripple. But on the flip side, I mean, Ripple's got the built-in product that, they could change the way we bank, change the way money moves worldwide. So that could be a big thing.
Yeah, it's hard to see. I mean, personally, I'm certainly a big fan of Vitalik. I love what he's doing. I mean, just the idea of he's creating this technology, this platform that can be way more than the single suite of tools that Ripple's building.
Yeah.
I'm not taking anything away from Ripple, but I mean, the realm of possibilities is huge for what Vitalik's doing.
Well, and what was your comparison there, like who Vitalik was and who?
Yeah, I got some shit for this, but yeah. So I essentially I kind of made the simplified comparison of calling Brad Garlinghouse Bill Gates and Vitalik Steve Jobs. And I don't know, I think there is some validity to my rationale. Basically I was saying what I kind of just said was, Bill Gates kind of created this suite of tools for businesses and for personal use as well, but, Microsoft Office tools and stuff like that. Whereas Steve Jobs, he, helped create, the iPhone, the App Store, which opens up Pandora's box. I mean, there's way more things came out of that from a variety standpoint. And, Vitalik's way cooler. So he's very much like Steve Jobs. He has like a sense of style, he wears like glitter and kitty shirts and shit like that, like unicorns,
I love some of the comments we got though. Like on the post, my favorite one was this one guy said, "Who runs this shit ass page?"
Yeah, they're getting real fired up.
Oh, and my response to him was just showing him that we've reached 27,000 people with that poll. I mean, come on, we knew Vitalik was going to win, but we've gotten 100 more likes to our Facebook page this week because of this poll. So
exactly.
And that's without paying Facebook any advertising, a dime, anything.
Totally organic.
Yeah, totally. Like I was looking at, of course, I'm not saying that I am behind these comments. I just thought they were funny. Looking in the Ethereum group, somebody commented, man, the guy on the left is sexy, talking about Brad Garlinghouse, but you got to pick the booger eater on this one.
Yeah. It's just fun to go through the comments. Like in general, there's just so much variety for one thing. I mean, some people are super pissed. Some are really funny. Some are way too serious. It's like, take it easy, man.
I know. I mean, it's literally, we're just putting up a poll. I mean, just to see, it's different from all the FUD you've been getting lately, all the, what price is this going to be next week? Like, I mean, come on. It's something different, something fun, and it pitted the communities against each other. It was hilarious. I mean, I was talking to you about this earlier before the podcast. You know how, like, for Star Wars, there's actually like a religion, Jedi religion, that people put on stuff. I guarantee you at some point there are going to be people that put down like crypto religions.
Yeah. Well, it's cool to see that kind of following, like that kind of passion about a project, but at the same time, it's like, you got to draw the line somewhere. Like, don't take it so seriously. Like,
yeah, I mean, and then you have like these dev cons and stuff that people go to, which you and I both work in software. I've been to software conferences. I've been to conferences for the company of the piece of software that I work on. Like, there are evangelists there that love the product, but I don't see any of those people going back out online and trying to protect the CEO of the product or the company or anything. I mean, it's like, oh,
Yeah, keyboard warriors in full force.
Oh, totally, totally. I just wish people would take a step back and chill and relax sometimes. It's like,
Well, and it's
go
mostly
ahead.
just blind following too. Like there's no rationale behind their thought. They're just like F you, and that's it. Like there's no thought behind why they think that way.
Yeah,
Like, I'm sticking with Ripple, and that's it. You're
yeah.
stupid.
Or Ethereum or whatever. It's
Exactly.
like the second poll that we put up. We put up one, and it's not specifically on the coin, but we
Uh-huh.
put up, which of these two founders is more influential in the blockchain world, and we put Dahong Fei from Neo up against
Mm-hmm.
Justin Sun from Tron. Now, this is again kind of the same scenario. You and I both, believe in what Neo's doing more than what we believe in what Tron's doing per se. But the question was influential. That doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter whether, what the coin's going to do. Now, Dahong Fei is great at having a following, and he's also great at bringing a product to market. But on the flip side, you cannot immediately count out the fact that Justin Sun created, and I don't know if I'm mispronouncing it here, but Piwo or whatever. It's a social media messaging app over in China, and
Mm-hmm.
it's got over 10 million users. So if he's going to try and come to the blockchain world, he's got a reach of 10 million people potentially there.
Exactly.
That's
It's not.
influence.
Yeah. I mean, so far, there's a little bit of hype around what he's doing, but that's going to happen with any new project. I don't care what it is. And eventually, I'm sure it'll come to fruition, but you can't discount him just because his blockchain project isn't at the exact same level as Neo at this moment.
It didn't.
He
Tron
has a
didn't
reach.
get to 4 billion market cap because of the product necessarily. I'm sure there were some good things going on, but it was his reach that he had that got him there. That's influence.
Exactly.
It's like people don't take a time to read the question.
Yeah, I was. It's funny. I was went to a musical, and for my girlfriend's birthday, and we're on at like the break period, the intermission. I pulled out my phone and I started looking at these comments, and I was like getting so pissed. He's like, these fuck boys. He's like, like, how can you even do this? How can you compare the two? I'm like, dude,
Just take a step back and
like open up a
fucking
beer.
breathe.
Like,
God.
yeah. Comparing haircuts. I'm like, it's ridiculous.
It's crazy. I mean, and the thing about it is, like, as an investor, my position on it is, like, I'm going to use an example here. I'm not saying this is my position when it comes to Ripple or anything, but I'm going to use some community sentiment for people out there that don't like Ripple. Some people say about Ripple, it's not fully decentralized or whatever. We're not going to get into the nitty gritty of that right now. But when it comes to investing, short-term investments and making money, I don't necessarily need to agree with your underlying technology and your principles behind the company per se. I don't really give two shits about, or two Satoshis about that. I don't. When it comes to long-term hold, yeah, I want something that I'm going to agree with the underlying technology, something that I think is going to, continue to grow. That's, for longer-term holds, that's how I'll invest. But for short-term, I don't give a shit if it's fully decentralized or not. If it's going to make money over the next 30 days, then why not take a chance in investing a little in it? Why do you have to agree with that?
Exactly. It's like anything else, different strokes for different folks. I mean, if you're the kind of person that needs to believe in every fiber of the project before you can throw in 2 Satoshis, hey, that's all you.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a million ways to make money in this game.
Exactly. It's crazy. But, and then the funny poll we put up on Friday, which actually I thought was going to get a lot more traction than it did, but it didn't.
True.
But was if, we just wanted to do something a little bit different just to see, what the comments would be. And so we threw up there, if you were in a bar fight, who would you choose to be on your side? John Mcafee or the Winklevoss Twins? Now, normally I would pick 2 people to be on my side in a situation like that, but John Mcafee is scrappy, man.
Yeah. Well, you have to understand that the photos make it, right? So I don't know if you guys listening are on our Facebook page, but so John Mcafee, I'm not even sure what the correct pronunciation is, but so his photo is him with no t-shirt on, sunglasses. He's got these tribal tattoos on his shoulders, and he's holding like an AK-47.
Well, it's so I actually cut it out for the photo. It's actually like a pump shotgun. But
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Like looking like a total badass right now, like in like the Everglades or something, like some Caribbean island, and then you have the Winklevoss Twins on the right in like their collared shirts, looking totally Ivy League gentlemen.
Well, in your comment on it was, you think the Winklevoss Twins would just like carry you out to your car in like a respectable way out of the bar?
Yeah, like, excuse me, sir. We have to escort you out.
They'll pick you up when you fall down, but that's about it.
Exactly.
But you say,
Law-abiding citizens.
well, you were talking about like the picture there of John Mcafee. You know where that comes from, right? And I don't know if you've seen this. And I tell everybody that's listening to this, you should check this out. But do you know where that comes from? His picture?
I don't think so. No.
So I don't know if the picture specifically comes from this per se, but if you check out the documentary on Netflix called, let me pull it up right here. It's called Gringo, The Dangerous Life of John Mcafee.
I've actually heard this referenced. I haven't seen it.
Oh, you have to watch it, dude. It is crazy. It's like, I can't even explain it on here how crazy it is. Like, it's about him going to Belize and like potentially taking over like this community in Belize and having his own security force and pretty much being more powerful than the government, and like all these crazy encounters he has with women. With him having his money, all the force and pushback he gives to like the local community, and even potentially like him hiring, I'm not saying this is true, but him hiring like somebody to kill this guy. And then he like escaped to another, Caribbean nation or another Latin American nation, and then came back to the U.S. And then after all of this, a year and a half ago, he was a freaking libertarian candidate for president after going through all of that. Like, this dude's got a crazy life.
Yeah, he's a rock star for sure. He's just fun to watch,
Oh, it's hilarious. I mean, he's got that one. What was his thing? If Bitcoin's not 500,000 by 2020, he'll eat his own dick on live TV.
Yeah, but now it's $1 million though, right? I think that was the first bet was 500,000, or was it 250K?
It was up there.
He raised it up. Like he doubled it after this past couple of months of it shooting up. So yeah, I'm getting nervous for him. Yeah,
well, and the funny part is there for a while he actually flipped and was starting to promote Bcash in place of Bitcoin. It's like, well, you just made this prediction you're going to eat your own dick on live TV, and here you're not even believing in the product. 3 months later or 6 months later, you're now going to like Bcash. Like,
yeah, that's gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. Who knows? I mean, the fact that he's so nuts, I tend to believe him. It's like,
yeah,
he's convinced, and I'm okay with that.
But
I just hope it doesn't go the other way.
Yeah. Well, long story short is, it's given us some traction on CryptoFizz. It's created some great comments and great pushback, and I'm finally getting over the fact of not caring what people, what people think about stuff online.
Exactly.
And it's been hilarious. And we're going to keep doing these polls. We may not do them daily. We may do them daily. I don't know. But we're going to keep doing them on CryptoFizz. So definitely, like us on Facebook, CryptoFizz. Check out these polls. Make some comments. We love to hear from you. We want to do something a little bit different. And we're even potentially thinking about with CryptoFizz taking it a route of not only being articles and podcasts, but actually being a polling center for different things that happen with the crypto community. So this could be, the start of it. So
exactly.
We'll see. But so that's that. Some things that happened at CryptoFizz this week is we actually reached out to and we've been strong promoters of this for a while, and we're going to, write an article about it, but we reached out to a prominent member of the Basic Attention Token and Brave browser community. He had actually written a nice article on his blog about it and let us cross-post it on ours. If you haven't checked out Basic Attention Token and Brave, I definitely suggest you guys checking it out. It's pretty freaking cool. The Brave browser, if you don't know about it, Brendan Eich, he actually created Firefox with Mozilla. He was a founder and CEO of Mozilla. He is a creator of JavaScript on the internet.
Heavy hitter.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, he's he definitely has the background for this, and he's looking at creating. Well, they have created the Brave browser, which natively blocks ads, trackers, speeds up your connection. You know, what am I looking for here? I'm looking for the words. How fast you can access web pages and everything.
Dude, from a browser standpoint, like from a non-technical standpoint, just like as a Joe Blow user, I mean, the UI is gorgeous, and I'm a sucker for UI. Like, I'm kind of a D-bag about it. It's gorgeous UI. The speed is the fastest across any browser that I've ever tried. I mean, it's the ultimate browsing experience. And we aren't getting paid to say this, by the way.
No, not a cent.
It's like that legit.
The only cons I would say is like in some instances where you go to some pages that use JavaScript for certain things, like if you go to CoinMarketCap, for instance, and you look at the social part on a coin where you see their Twitter, and then off to the right is their Reddit actually doesn't show up because that's like using JavaScript there.
Okay.
So like little things like that I don't like about it, but you know, that'll improve over time. So I mean that won't be an issue, but it's been awesome. I love the Brave browser. The speed, the blocking of the trackers, and even the coolest thing is some of those websites you go to when you read articles and they like pop up with a pop-up asking you to like pay to read the article.
Yeah.
You can actually flip a little switch on Brave that blocks those so you can actually read the article. It doesn't work on every website, but on like I did it on Business Insider the other day. Instead of paying for an article, I was able to block that and read the whole article about it.
Nice.
So that was cool. But the other part about it is that they're integrating basic attention token into the browser, which is a whole new way of advertising. Have you like played around with that in your wallet on the browser yet, Billy?
No, so I use the browser, but I haven't actually utilized all the full functionality of everything, including the token. That's something I'm going to need to be educated on myself.
Yeah, so I started using it. Now, I haven't deposited any basic attention token on there yet because Brave and basic attention token were actually doing a $1 million giveaway in the tokens, and they gave, if you got the browser and you were within that time frame with that giveaway, they would give you like $5 or whatever of basic attention token for free. Now, right now, it's if you send money to your wallet or if you put money into that wallet, you can't send it out of there. Right now, the sole purpose of it is if you're a verified basic attention token or Brave browser publisher, which we are at cryptofizz.com, and you access a website that is, is a verified publisher using the browser, a percentage of what's in your wallet will be donated to those publishers, depending on how much time you spent on their website, every month. So you can actually pay publishers directly, like blogs and stuff that you really like. You can pay them directly for the content that they're producing without them having to like pay Google Ads to have like AdSense on their page or whatever and cutting out the middleman there. So it's your way of paying publishers directly for the information that you like, which is awesome.
Yeah, I think there's going to be, it's going to be a slow and steady process, but I can't wait for that moment in time where there's no more ads popping up in your face. Nothing drives me nuts more than ads, whether it's TV, internet, I don't care what it is. Like 9 times out of 10, I'm trying to read something, browse something, and there's ads left and right hit me in the face.
Well, that's why I don't even like watching TV shows on TV that often anymore. I go straight to Netflix now because I get tired of the ads. Now, if it's like a sporting event or something, of course you have to. But yeah, I can't believe that nobody's reworked the way advertising is done on TV. Like that's crazy to me. Like we have to sit there for 5 minutes of commercials all the time, and we pay for this service.
Yeah, imagine if Brave gets into something like Netflix.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, some other crypto is going to do it, and they probably already are that I'm not aware of yet. But
well, that's what Bat's trying to do. Not necessarily. They haven't said Netflix per se, but they've got over 10,000 publishers already now, and they're already moved into like YouTube. So YouTube channels, rather than having like ads and stuff, prominent YouTubers out there can get into basic attention token, be a publisher, and they can get paid just for you viewing their YouTube videos. They're actually trying to move into Twitch as well. Can you imagine, like, Twitch has so many viewers viewing people playing games and stuff online, like online gaming. Like, that would be huge if it gets into that market. So definitely check out our article at cryptofizz.com. Man Technic, and we're actually going to have him on for a podcast to talk in depth about it in the near future. But check it out on cryptofizz.com. It's an awesome, well thought out article. He's got videos in there. It's literally like, normally I like shorter articles. His article is like 2 to 3 pages long, but it explains it in depth. And it also talks about, like, the Facebook advertising, how Mark Zuckerberg has recently put out that Facebook's going to start blocking cryptocurrency and ICO advertising on there. So it talks about where basic attention token can fill in on that space.
Yeah, I think he has a tech background as well, like more on like the programming side, I want to say.
Yeah, man, technically he does. He's actually from, I talked to him a little bit more in depth. He's from Baltimore. We're from Virginia ourselves, everybody, but he's from Baltimore. He actually lives in Europe now. But he's gonna be on one of our podcasts in the near future, I believe. So that would be awesome, because I love learning from. I mean, we have our favorites when it comes to different cryptos, but we're not like solely focused on one and know everything about one per se. So it's nice getting prominent members of the community that are really, really bought into one coin and getting their take on it and their information. And that's what we talked about this week, really, about having more posts at CryptoFizz rather than us rating all articles. If you're a prominent member, of the community, if you really like a coin, go to cryptofizz.com and go to the guest article post. You can submit your article to us there. We'll review it. We like it. We'll post it on CryptoFizz. We'll backlink to your website, your social media, whatever that you'd like. And we'd like to build CryptoFizz out to being just not us writing, just not us putting out podcasts and us doing things. We'd like to open it up for the community. If you want to write something well and put it out there, if you've already posted on your blog, come over and send it over to us, and we'll post it on ours as well, cross-post it, and get you more views to your social media, to your blog and stuff,
Exactly. Yeah, I would love to do some deep dives or have somebody else do a deep dive for us.
I actually put that, remember in the last podcast I talked about writing about Edgeless? But I actually put it out in the Edgeless Reddit. I haven't gotten much feedback on it yet, but I put out there, if you're a prominent member in the Edgeless community, write to us and we'll post your article. Maybe a little bit more about it than I would have time to invest, a few hours in researching it. If you've been researching it for a while, you maybe know a little bit more. Put it out to us and we'll put it on CryptoFizz.
Exactly. So I kind of want to step sideways a little bit and go back to, you mentioned it earlier, Facebook is basically banning essentially all crypto ads. What are your thoughts on that? We haven't really talked about that yet.
Well, I haven't dived deep into it, but it's kind of funny to me that, the reasoning behind it from what I've seen is that, some of these ICOs that pop up that are scams and are scamming people of money. I mean, that's their reasoning behind it, which I totally get. I mean, that does make sense. But on the flip side, I did see a meme the other day, and it did strike me as partly true that, there's a meme of Mark Zuckerberg, and it says, when you can't buy your competitors, you ban them. And that's what, a lot of these cryptos out there are trying to go for and do things that Facebook does. And yeah, I mean, that may be a way of Facebook kind of stifling their growth a little bit.
Yeah, I saw something similar. It was more speculation that, block your competitors from being able to take your market share. So it makes sense that they wouldn't allow that on their platform. Hey, check us out. We're going to be taking over and stealing from Facebook's market share. But two, there's speculation that maybe Facebook's going to get into the crypto game. They're going to make sure that their competitors can't compete with them on their own platform.
Well, the funny part about that, though, going right back to the Brave browser, and it is explained a little bit in our article, but Brave has already put out, with Facebook doing this within the browser, you can actually enable it that you see things from certain companies and stuff, or certain verified publishers. and that will keep it from being blocked on Facebook for you, and keep their advertisements and stuff from being blocked on Facebook for you. So Brave kind of already has some, I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but Brave kind of is already preparing for this scenario here, which is cool. But, you know, we'll see how it happens in the long run, and what actually, you know, comes of it. But, you know, like we talked about earlier with you and I doing polls, we paid to boost a couple of our posts on Facebook and may have gotten like maybe 1,000, you know, reach on it, paying for it. And here we're doing these polls that are more viral, and we're getting 27,000 reach. And when it comes to posting our articles, we've talked about before how what's great about crypto is Reddit is so big. So you actually go to that community in Reddit and post it, and it's better than paying for advertising.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Target audience.
So whatever. I don't think that that's going to have a big effect on the crypto community, honestly, when it comes to Facebook banning the ads.
No, but it certainly, it seems like it came out of nowhere. You know, like this, it's like Mark snapped his fingers and was like, you know what? F you guys.
Yeah.
Like some meeting went down behind the scenes. They're like, you know, this is getting out of hand.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. In some ways, I actually think that this might give, if people follow you on Facebook, I feel like this actually might give you a better audience reach in a way, the way Facebook's changing it, because isn't it where they are going to be showing you like your family and friends more? That's going to be prominent in your news feed, your family, and then it's friends and so on. Like that's how it's supposed to work.
Yeah, you know, I remember seeing some headlines recently that Facebook is kind of shaking things up. You know, I'm not sure. I can't speak in detail about it. I just noticed that there was some big changes coming.
But well, think about this. This is kind of my logic on it. If you like, let's just say you like CryptoFizz and you like one of our articles or you share one of our articles. If your family's going to see it first, that actually gives the publisher better reach, because who's going to trust you more per se? Your family over your friends a little bit. Exactly. So if you can get somebody to buy into something and then they start convincing their family and stuff, it might be a better way of advertising, you know, on Facebook and better reach.
Totally. Yeah, it's like the friends and family soft opening. You know, that's the way you do anything, any kind of business. Mm-hmm. I mean, so it totally makes sense. So it seems like there's this shift from money first to quality first. And I think this, you know, blockchain decentralization movement is certainly influencing Facebook in a big way. I think they're starting to see a shift in the community. Oh,
I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, in a very short term they come out with their own crypto that you can exchange via Messenger or whatever. Mm-hmm. Or maybe even their own crypto that you use to pay for advertising or something on there. Because, like, you know, right now when we pay for ads, or when I paid for ads in the past, we've used PayPal. Well, what was the big announcement this week? eBay just split with PayPal as their number one provider. And think about the fees that, like, Facebook might have to pay PayPal for stuff. Well, if they have their own crypto, they don't got to pay those transaction fees or anything. So
exactly.
It could definitely be, we could see a sea of change here coming in the near future, especially with these big companies. The CEO of Twitter just recently said that, you know, crypto is they're really looking into crypto. So
tidal waves coming.
Yep. So one that we've actually talked about in the past and that we've been big supporters of, FunFair, we kind of got hit for a loop last night with FunFair, didn't we?
Yeah, so I'm not even sure how I came across it initially. I don't know if I actually went to Bittrex and I saw the notification on there, or what it was, but it saw that they're going to be, you know, delisted, and I was like, oh shit, like what's going on here?
Yeah, on February 9th.
Yeah, because typically when you see that, it's because it's just a shit coin. You know, it's just like a low volume project that nobody really cares about, and that's not the case with FunFair.
No, I mean, within the last month and a half, FunFair has been on the first page of Bittrex with volume. I mean, it's been up there as one of the top producer. Right now, it's low in volume, but well, I don't know. It might be high right now, being the fact that they're being delisted. I haven't checked in the last hour or so, but yeah. So when I found out about this from our group that we talk about that we have on Facebook, somebody messaged that it was going to be delisted, and immediately I freaked out because I've got 500,000 FunFair right now, and it's been dropping in price. I've definitely lost a decent amount during this coinageddon of 2018. But
Hashtag.
Yeah, hashtag coinageddon. But so I immediately opened up my Exodus wallet and transferred some to Bittrex with the thoughts of, hey, I'm going to unload some of this. But when I did a little bit of scooping and digging, I first went to the Reddit just to see what people were saying. I went to Twitter or whatever. And actually, on the flip side, now that I've researched it, I don't think it's going to be that big of a thing. So what I found out about it was Bittrex being U.S.-based, they're under U.S. regulatory and SEC laws. So what they have been doing is they have been evaluating all coins that are on their exchange and determining whether that coin could cause issues. And if it does, they're going to delist it. So this is along the lines also that Bittrex, going by their support messages, are going to be opening up fiat deposits. So you can deposit U.S. dollars directly to Bittrex. Well, if you think about FunFair is going to be a token that's going to be used for gambling. So if you can deposit U.S. dollars and then use it to gamble, then essentially, I would think, in their eyes, it could be used as like money laundering and things like that. Hence the reason why Bittrex is going to be delisting it on the 9th, which is, by the way, right after the day after the huge conference that FunFair is going to, ICE Gaming, in Europe. So it's kind of ironic the timing of it.
Right, yeah. Well, to kind of go back to the volume thing, I'm actually on Bittrex right now. And so it's actually number 12 as far as volume is concerned. It's on the front page. It's got more volume than Bitcoin Cash right now.
Well, and when I checked, it was up 5% this morning, price-wise.
Yeah, I mean, it's at 647 Satoshis, so it's, look at the chart right now.
But it dropped down to about 560 last night when or right around that area when this was announced.
Yeah, people freaked out.
Totally.
So did I.
But, another thing, some other things to kind of talk to this where I don't think that's going to be a bad thing is that it's still on Binance. That's still going to be a major exchange. And then, I don't know if I always mix up the F and the T in this, but the Bitfinex or Biftnex or what the hell is that exchange? It's still going to be on there as well, which is a major exchange. And if you actually look historically at this, so I say historically within the last month, on January 12th, DGD was delisted from Bittrex along the same reasons. Within the last month, DGD has been the highest performer of the top 100 cryptos. So since it's been delisted from Bittrex, it's been the top performer of the top 100 cryptos.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those scenarios where you got to look at the big picture. You can't just look at this one piece of information like, oh shit, it's being delisted from Bittrex. I'm getting out of here, That's just one piece of the puzzle. You have to understand what's going on behind the scenes. Like, why are they actually doing this?
Well, and the funny part about it is on the 8th, the day before it's delisted from Bittrex, it's being listed on Robinhood, which I haven't really played around with yet, but that is the zero fee exchange, the first one. I'm going to check it out. It doesn't have a ton of volume. It only, like last night when I checked, it only has like 3 million in total volume on the exchange, but it's being listed on there. And then just yesterday in CNBC article, it was referenced as going to be one of the top Ethereum ERC20 performers this year by a major analyst.
That's big. I mean, FunFair is like, nobody knows about it yet. Nobody's even talking about it. So it's exciting to see some media mentioned, especially CNBC, of all things.
Well, and we talked about this before too. FunFair is in a little bit of a different genre. They're not marketing directly to consumer. They're marketing to businesses because they're licensing their platform to other casinos. So really, it's going to be the other casinos that license it once they do their public release and everything. Those casinos that license it that are going to be doing all the advertising.
Exactly.
So that's why FunFair isn't on Twitter every single day pumping their coin or anything, because they're not going to be they're doing B2B marketing, and those businesses are going to be doing the B2C marketing at that point.
Exactly.
So it's
going to be like, oh, sorry to cut you off, but it's going to be like, yeah, so it's all happening behind the scenes, right? And then eventually we're going to start seeing like MGM Grand, a FunFair casino, something like that. Like FunFair certified or
we have
whatever.
no idea about MGM Grand, but we're just throwing that out there as an example.
I'm totally speculating, but it's like, it's going to be one of those like, hey, we're using this technology, by the way. Yeah. Like, we're a superior product. Yeah. That's what I think is going to happen.
Well, and it's like, Drew that posted this in our chat last night, after we kind of talked about it a little bit, I totally agree with his point. You could actually make a case for buying positions in FunFair right now in Bittrex because of the fear that it's been dropping because of this fear. So you could actually make a case for scaling into it right now. Just want to throw this out there, and we put this at the bottom of all of our podcasts, our website, and everything. We are not financial advisors, nothing like that. We're just a couple of guys that have some ideas and do a little bit of research in this. So please do your own research. But this is just, as the podcast says, this is our 2 cents. This is our 2 Satoshis. Like, this is just what we think. So, our opinion. You do your own research on it. But, as Drew said, you could definitely make a case for moving into it right now with the fear that, that this put out.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the market in general, I mean, it's a bloodbath because it's just tied to BTC, right? So, I mean, people, the market tends to follow whatever Bitcoin does. And this is a cyclical movement. It happens almost every year this time of year. You have that dip. So for me, it's a clearance sale. It's a good time to rebalance your portfolio, start getting into things that you've been wanting to drop for a long time. Well, now they've dropped. Load up.
Yeah, I was actually doing this the other day. I was rebalancing preparing to rebalance my portfolio. And I'm just kind of pulling this up right here. I'm just going to list it out real quick. There are going to be other great coins outside of what I say here and everything, but this is kind of my thoughts on my portfolio rebalance right now. I just want to get your take on this, Billy, and then we'll kind of close out this podcast. But so I decided on about 11 different coins that I think are really prominent right now. So FunFair is obviously one of my main go-tos that we just talked about. We actually talked about this last week on our podcast, Syscoin and Bancor. So the way I'm looking at my portfolio, and I might change around these numbers a little bit, but thinking like 20% FunFair, 15% Syscoin, and 15% Bancor. I'm looking at basic attention token and salt lending being 10% each of my portfolio. And then from there on, all of these are 5%. So I'm looking at Ethereum, UKG, possibly Edgeless. Edgeless is like FunFair where they're doing a casino, but they're going to actually be running the casino. They're not going to be licensing it out. And they're going to be at the same conference that FunFair is, DICE Gaming Conference. Civic, if you haven't checked out Civic yet, it's ran by Vinny Lingham. He's on Shark Tank South Africa. They have a pretty good, it's an identification service, information, privacy service. It's access to websites and stuff. That's 5%. Neo, I'm looking at 5%. And then last but not least, Ripple at 5%. So, what do you think about that? Is there anything that you're thinking that I'm missing there that I should probably look into?
I mean, solid portfolio, right? Like those are like all blue chip positions.
Yeah.
There's nothing like really speculative in there.
Just want to throw out there that doesn't include like my BTC holdings as well. I still have some in BTC as well.
Sure. Yeah, and these are all long term, right? I mean, or are some of these catalyst driven? Like, you know what I mean?
in this case, I'm not really doing catalyst driven per se. These are more long term, but I still like keeping, a little stack here that I play off of catalyst based on certain events and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I wouldn't change a thing. Personally, I'm pretty heavy right now in FunFair. I'm probably going to move into Syscoin in a big way. So I'm going to have a lot. Most of my portfolio is going to be in Fun and in Sys, just because my strategy is a little bit more timeline driven, as much as possible, catalyst driven. But of course, that's going to change with the overall market sentiment as well. So for now, I'm probably going to be in Sys and Fun primarily long term. I have a little bit more going on. I have Salt, I have some Edgeless, Bitcoin Cash. I got a little bit of everything really. But
well,
yeah.
Actually, one other one that I didn't mention that I might throw in there as well and put a small percentage into is Wagerr, because Wagerr is they're under 100 million market cap right now, and they've got some good. Good tech behind them. They're just it's more in the betting realm as well. But I'm excited about what they're trying to do as well.
Yeah, that's a quiet project that we kind of touched on last time. And they still haven't gone. They don't have a mainnet product yet. It's coming out very soon. So it's still very under publicized.
Yeah. But and going back to our polling that we talked about at the beginning of this, it's like, if we put up a poll, Ethereum against Neo, and put it in the Ethereum group and the Neo group, you're going to have people in the Neo group bashing Ethereum and people in the Ethereum group bashing Neo. Well, you look at this. We're big into FunFair, but Edgeless is potentially their competitor in a way. You've got Wagerr that's also in the betting realm, but not necessarily casino. You've got UKG that's in the esports betting realm. If I was so sold on, so behind or stuck on just FunFair, just saying everything that they're doing there, I would be talking shit about all these other ones. Well, why do I need to talk shit when I can be making money through all of them? They can all do something well. They can all be successful. What? Why do you have to be sold specifically on one per se? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get it. For me, it just seems so very short-sighted, It's just unnecessary.
The only thing that I can think is that, those type of people aren't people that are in it, for, they're more in it about the technology than they are the investing. Now, I'm a technology guy, you're a technology guy. We're in it for both. I'm like half and half. But I want to make money from it. But on the flip side, I want it to be successful and I want it to change the world, So I don't have to be sold just in one camp. Exactly. So
you're always going to have fanatics on those different sides, right? That's true for anything.
But we love fanatics. So if you're a fanatic out there, like Crypto Fizz, comment on our polls. I don't give a shit what you say on there. I don't care, what if you joke on us or whatever, if you joke on anything, if you are in one camp or the other, who cares? We love it. So, follow us, comment on that stuff, help us improve, help us grow. We don't know everything. We don't do everything perfect, but, we're just trying to make a fun community here, a fun podcast, and, just do something a little bit different than all the FUD that's going around, all the negativity that's going around, and just educate people and learn ourselves along the way,
Exactly. And that's always kind of been the focus, right? It's we're in the same position as everybody else. We're trying to learn. We're trying to make money. It's an interesting technology. We want to be part of the community as much as anybody does, and this is our way of doing it.
Exactly.
Any way we can add value.
Yeah. And I know that you had talked about this with one of your friends, and I'm randomly throwing this out here. I don't even know what your opinion is on it. But if you guys listen to our podcast in our opening song, we have an opening song, and then we close it out with the same song. That's from Coin Brothers on YouTube. It's a cool song that they did. But we're actually looking at getting a new custom intro song. If you're out there and you make songs, you do things, you want to submit something to us that we'll use on our podcast that you've made, submit it to us at contact@cryptofizz.com. We'd love to use stuff from the community to open up our podcast, kind of change it up from here and there. If you want to do, if you want to be involved in Crypto Fizz at all, as well. If you want to help us do stuff with graphics, if you're a great WordPress developer or something, we're not pros when it comes to WordPress. I manage it right now, but there's other things we'd like to do. Reach out to us at, contact@cryptofizz.com. We'd love to have you come on board and help us out. It's free. I mean, it would be for free because we don't really have anything going right now. But being a BAT verified publisher and stuff, there's potential that in the future, we could, cascade out some of the crypto that we bring in and stuff. And we're not in this to make a ton of money or anything. We're just in this to do it fun. And if you want to help contribute, reach out to us. We'd love to have the contributions.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I mean, I do have a friend that's he is a rapper. He's got a couple albums out. KM Music. So I've been talking to him recently about maybe putting together a custom intro outro for us. So that's still a work in progress. We'll see what happens with that. But for now, I'm really digging what we have.
Yep.
Crypto Bros killed it.
Yep. And just to go over that one more time, if there's anything you want to do to help us out at CryptoFizz that you're good at, reach out to us. We're whether it's writing articles, graphics, songs, helping us with social media, whatever, submitting stuff to us to post on social media, whatever, reach out. We'd love it. And then, I'm going to kind of close out this podcast here right now, but I just want to touch on one thing that we talked about that we're going to have in our next podcast, which is talking about smart contracts. And just kind of like a little preview of it. One thing I didn't know, a guy that we're friends with, his name's Justin Vong. He's a cool kid. He's been doing a lot of work. He lives in the Boston area. He's been going to a lot of Boston blockchain meetups and stuff. He's a programmer, and he's really been diving into smart contracts lately. And one thing I had no realization of that he brought up to us that he's going to talk in depth about next week is that, let's say, for instance, you've got like a smart contract that, for instance, in order for it to trigger, it has to have outside information from the outside world. Like, let's say the smart contract triggers when the temperature reaches 52 degrees or something, something random like that. Well, I might not do it justice here. He'll be able to explain it more, but the way he kind of laid it out for us is that in order for that to trigger, the blockchain needs to be able to get that information from an external source. And it needs to get that information from an external source. All the nodes have to get that external information from a certain source at the exact same time. Otherwise, if it's at different times, the temperature could be off a little bit, and that smart contract would never trigger. So there are actually people out there now, and Link, I think, is one of them that he talked about, working on the potential for smart contracts to interact with external information so that they can trigger in those cases, because that's a big downside of smart contracts right now. So I may be wrong about some of this stuff. You can call me out if you want on the comments of the podcast, but that's the way he's kind of explained it to us, and that's how he's gonna go in depth in the next podcast. But I had no idea about little things like that. I didn't know that was an issue.
Like, it's like one of those things where it's we spend a lot of time on kind of like top level details regarding a given project, but we don't really think about and spend a lot of time on what's going on behind the scenes and how is it actually going to work.
How the wires are connected.
Yeah, how is it actually going to happen, right? So it's going to be cool to actually, to hear that explanation, because I'm not really that technical when it comes to blockchain tech. So.
Yeah, so that'll be an addition to our podcast next week. We'll have a segment on that. I know Justin reached out to me the other day telling me he's getting all his notes together and prepping for his segment, so that should be good. Mm-hmm. But we're just going to close this podcast out. Everybody, thank you so much for listening today. Billy's going to nurse his hangover for the rest of the day, and I'm going to probably become a father at some point over the next couple days. So thanks for checking out the podcast. We'll be putting out another one next week. I'm considering this one for this upcoming Monday, even though we're putting it out today, but the following week we're going to put out another podcast. And we may even start doing, we talked about this the other day, we may start doing little one-off podcasts here and there where we talk about certain things that are going on in the world that's outside of our weekly ones. When certain things come up, like, for instance, India talking the other day about possibly banning crypto or whatever, South Korea, when big events come up like that, we might put out a new podcast here and there. But that's been it for this week. Hope you guys enjoyed it. That's pretty much all I got to say. Anything you want to say, Billy, to close it out?
Not too much. I just appreciate any feedback. I appreciate our audience. Blown away by the support that we have already.
Oh, the response has been great.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
My hangover's just about gone. Thank you, Starbucks.
No more box wine.
Yeah, this weekend.
Let's see an uptick in the market so that you can buy bottles.
Exactly. Rosé.
Okay, everybody. Well, have a good one.
Weekend.
She don't know I got a master know. Even my son told me about the dip, ain't talking about what you put on potato chips. Even my son told me about the dip, ain't talking about what you put on potato chips. I buy the dip, dip it. I buy the dip, dip it. I buy the dip, dip it. I